Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Leaders Uncut. It is my great pleasure today to have with us Khushboo Jha, who is the CEO at BuyProperly. Hello, Khushboo. How are you doing today?
Hi, Catherine. Very nice to be here. I am doing very well. How are you doing?
I am doing good. Good. We're going to have very interesting conversation here on something that I think is going to change a lot of people's lives. I can't wait for you to dig into the details of what you are doing at BuyProperly.
Excited about that.
Sure. So you have an online platform, as you explain on your website, that unlocks access to high yield alternative investments, right? So people can expand their portfolio in new directions with private assets. And those assets typically cannot be found on the stock market. And they go from real estate to private equity and beyond. So can you talk about this? Because you're really giving people access to extraordinary opportunities that they would not have otherwise, right?
Yes. Yeah, so what our platform does is it lets regular people, so retail investors from every walk of life and independent of the income, accredited, non-accredited, high net worth or not, to be able to access these private deals that have historically mostly been limited to institutional investors or high net worth individuals, family offices, that kind of a setup. Mm-hmm. However, regular people doing a day job, earning a regular salary, have not been able to get access to these asset classes. And one of the reasons is it's not because the funds don't want the small investors, it's because there's a lot of work involved in the private market for ensuring governance and compliance and ensuring that the customers get their questions answered, and that's been prohibitive for a lot of large funds and large investors or asset managers to be able to access these investors. And so we've leveraged AI and technology to make the process easier. And therefore we are able to serve the small retail investors as well.
Got it. Yeah, because the idea of building wealth often feels inaccessible to the average person.
Yeah.
And you're really here to change that with your custom recommendations that are all powered by AI. It's just a very innovative way of utilizing AI. Your algorithm shortlists the most promising deals on the market, right? So can you talk about this, the algorithm, how it works and how it's supposed to be evolving?
Yeah, absolutely. So for one, I will put the disclaimer out. This is not financial advice and not a replacement of a financial advisor. So anybody listening to this, watching this, make sure you always speak to your financial advisor and tax advisor for your specific context. Because there's no way we will get it perfectly right.
Right.
What the AI algorithm does is tries to take away some of the emotional component and make it more rational and numbers driven. It's not a replacement of knowing a person, but it's definitely a good start for a shortlist. And the way we look at these deals is we look at a whole bunch of macroeconomic factors, which is completely outside your control. So would be things like GDP growth, inflation, interest rate, all of those. So the overall economy, the overall industry. So say there is a deal which is in, we have a deal that's in filtered water, or we have a deal that's coming up which is in storage solutions. We will look at overall, how is that industry performing? Is it mature? It's growing? What's the potential? So first you have the overall macroeconomy, then you have the industry, then you have the specific deal itself. And when we say deal, we will talk about the financials of that specific project. If it's a commercial real estate, then that particular location and what's going to be built on it, as well as the people involved, which is often a tricky part because at the end of the day, you can have the best ideas, but you want to be dealing with people who will execute well and are people of integrity. Right. And so we try and capture as much data on all of these variables. So macroeconomy, industry, the deal, and the actual sponsors or people involved. And they're like hundreds of variables we are talking about. The advantage of having an AI model is we can track those changes as they happen. So imagine if you were the CEO of a potential company we are looking at investing, and some news comes out about you that might actually not be good for the company. It happens. But because we're running an AI model, it will capture that information as well and bake it in. And that's the power of using AI. But all of these variables then help evaluate the quality of the deal or the risk-return trade-off for the deal. We would do the same thing for the investors. So when an investor comes on board, they provide us information, they provide their risk appetite questions, but we also track investors for their behavior. So I may say I'm really risk averse, but I only choose the highest risk deals, which means what I think is risk averse versus, and I always use the example of my husband and me. At one point in time, we were both trying to invest through a new app, and we said, oh yeah, we don't know, let's experiment. Seems like high risk. He started by investing 50,000. I started by investing 500. Even though we both agreed it's a high risk investment, and we are both agreed we are both risk averse.
Right.
So what people say and what people do can be different. So behavior goes in, and then putting all of their numbers, their age, their income, their ability to take risks, and their propensity to take risks, and the actual behavior of taking risks, all combined together will give us a risk-return trade-off for the person that allows us to present with them with what we believe might be closely aligned to their circumstances and goals.
It's hyper-customized, hyper-personalized, because you are right. The ability to invest depends also on how you have been raised, what you have been told about money, and how you deal with money, and your stage in your life where you are. I mean, it's just so many different factors that will impact your decision making, and it's also an emotional decision. So I mean, you have all those components that are coming into place that are very hard to bring together.
Yeah, and we've been around in the industry for close to 5 years. And my background was in tech and AI before I was at Amazon. So from day one, we knew we will run into this. I mean, being an investor myself before that, and looking at just how stark me and my husband take on investment, and looking at people around me, when they say the same thing, look the same, numbers would come out to be the same, but behave differently based on context. And we wanted to make sure that we are in a position. So we've been trying to learn from customer behavior for 5 years, which puts us in a great spot, because again, as much data as you have is how good the model will be.
That is so true. So I know you've mentioned that already before, but I would like you to explain what triggered the decision to launch this company. I mean, I'm sure you had several triggers, but I would love if you would approach and explain that.
Absolutely. Well, like a lot of founders, it was kind of my own frustration that it started from. So I was in the tech industry. I used to work at Amazon. I'd been there 5.5, 6 years. And the tech industry often has a very stock-heavy compensation. So a lot of my salary or compensation was in stocks. It was Amazon stocks, and they are great stocks. So no complaints against my stocks. But having studied finance, I wanted to be able to invest in more than just the stock market, which is, if the stock market goes down, so do my fortunes. At one point, almost 75-80% of my net worth was pretty much in the stock market. And that's a huge risk from diversification perspective. If the market tanks, which having started working in 2007 second half, I have seen a downturn. And so once you've seen it, then you know that it does tank, and you don't want to be in that situation. But when I looked around, the only options I had was I could go buy an investment property, and which I tried. I went and bought a small investment condo, which meant I had another mortgage to take on, also the maintenance. It was just a lot of work. And I was like, why isn't it as simple as using Amazon? I use it day in, day out. I just want to go in, click, and do it. And you have companies like Robinhood in the US or Wealthsimple in Canada that are doing the same for the public market stocks. You log in, you click, you're done. And I was used to, from that mindset, saying, why can't I just log in, choose my deal, put my money, and I'm done? And so that led me to a search of how can I invest in things like private credit or private equity, which help me ensure that I have an all-weather portfolio that doesn't go up and down with the market. Like I'm not rich one day and poor one day kind of thing. And then when I couldn't find a proper platform, I was like, maybe I will start one. So that's kind of how BuyProperly started.
I love it. When you don't find what you need, you just build it, right?
Yes.
As simple as that. It's not as simple to do. It's a lot of work. I know that's something that you have to dedicate a lot of time towards. So currently, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you offer real estate and private credit deals, right? But soon, or maybe it's already here, private equity, venture capital, hedge funds. Is all of these available already, or is it coming?
We have been doing, so not hedge funds, but the other deals we have already been doing. The deals come and go. If it's got funded, then it will move on and not be available. We also have an enterprise solution. Doing this, we built too much tech, I think. And our tech was good. It was compliant. It was secure, cybersecurity wise, and a lot of those fundamental strengths that I had learned working at Amazon, like it needs to be secure and protected and thought through, had spilled over into our product. And so our product was good. And so what we are also offering is an enterprise software solution, so an enterprise SaaS. So if you were like a large or a small bank, for example, or a broker dealer who is in the wealth business, you could license our technology to service retail investors in a much more automated, simpler, and fully compliant way, because we are compliant in both US and Canada. We check off every compliance box out there.
This is great. So is that enabling automation of fundraising? Because I know a lot of people are fundraising and it's very challenging, right? To get the deals faster. I mean, is that how it works?
All of the above. So it will help, for example, if you are a large fund, like if you are a private credit fund, like a KKR, you could use the technology to raise your next fund. If you were a commercial real estate player who's often doing new projects, you could use the same technology to raise your capital for development as well. Every time you are taking money from retail investors that are not banks and institutions, and then deploying that, our system will allow you to do it in a legally compliant manner.
Oh, that's important.
And an automated, real time also.
This is what I love. It's automated, it's hyper customized. You're saving a lot of time. And what I love is you have everything into one platform. Everything is centralized into one platform, which makes it a lot easier than anything else out there. I'm looking right now at your all deals product page, and I love how it's so easy to navigate your site, first of all, but I love how you display all the various options with a great graphic and the minimum investment, and I'm surprised, actually. I was expecting the minimum investment to be a lot higher than what you have here, so it's affordable for a lot of people.
That's the magic part. Yes,
I love it. So what's coming for you right now? What are your goals this year? Are you planning on building additional partnerships? If you can address that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the year for growth for us. So we've been growing very fast last quarter or so, and we continue to see that momentum. I think the markets are coming back up, and it reflects for us as well. And we are also riding that tide up. And so growth is coming in two ways, like you rightly guessed. One, we will continue to build on more deals and grow the marketplace, but also on the enterprise software. We have a huge pipeline of funds and private asset managers and banks who we are working with to deploy some of this. Given that we are very, very compliant, puts us in a very good spot because if you're a financial institution, compliance is a big deal.
It's
so
huge.
Yes, it's great for the investors, it's good experience, but I think the cornerstone of this whole financial services industry is, are you compliant? And the answer for us is yes, very strong yes. And so we have a long list of ecosystem players. We are hoping if everybody is using kind of our technology, even more retail investors will be able to access these deals and other deals.
So with blockchain coming in and all these new digital currencies, how is that integrated within your system?
So, but we don't use blockchain, but we've explored using blockchain. We have something in the works there without revealing too much detail. I think I would like to view blockchain as a technology. It would take the system that we do to the next level. So right now, it's already automated. If we were on blockchain, we would use smart contracts. But at the end of the day, you still need the logic in place. And so we've worked and refined the logic to make sure all the checks and balances happen. What a system like blockchain can do for us is allow us to show what are the checks we did. What I'm telling you, you could go check. And so it's kind of empowering the users to be able to see more. They can still see it, but then there's more trust in the blockchain system, because if I had edited something, you will be able to see the edits. Here, if I edit, the system you may or may not be able to see it, depending on how I display. And so that's a little bit of a difference there. Otherwise, that's a great technology, and we might be launching something there as well.
Wonderful. So I always love, of course, thank you for explaining all of this. I think it's very helpful to understand what your platform is doing and why people should utilize it. What's the next step now? If people are interested, they look at your site, what is the next step for people if they decide, okay, that's a great platform, I want to proceed and utilize it?
Yeah, so if they're looking for a software solution, they'll have to just email us, because then you're a big institution likely. For retail investors, they can just go create on the marketplace and check out. Again, it's meant to be Amazon-like experience, self-serve, real time. You fill your profile, we do the checks. Assuming everything checks out, you sign and transfer the money and get your shares then.
So we're very easy.
Very easy. In less than 5 minutes from when you start, you will have the share certificates of the investment.
Wonderful. I love that. This is great. Wonderful. Okay, so tell us now. I love to ask also my guest stories about resilience and obstacles that you overcame, something that you have learned in life that would benefit everyone out there, that would inspire them and maybe give them some ideas as to, hey, maybe I can do this to myself.
Well, I feel like, and this is more a startup journey than anything else, I feel I almost had a linear path before that. Go to a good school, you get a good job. Go to another good school, you get a good job, and life is simple. Startup life isn't as simple, and it's not as linear. You have to create your own path. And the last 4 or 5 years, we've seen everything from high interest, low interest, COVID, downturn, bull run, you name it. We've seen every color of macroeconomics. And I think one of the things that I've learned is often the organization or the people around you are pretty much a mirror of what you're thinking or how you're feeling. If you're in a positive space, everybody's around you is energized by that, and everybody's feeling like positive and motivated and put in more, and it's a good positive cycle. If you go into a negative cycle, that's also true. If I'm not hopeful, neither is my team, nor is my company and everything, nor are my investors, nobody's happy. And with all of the things that happen in the world, I think in the last 2 to 3 years maybe, I've learned that you have to work on yourself also every day. And when you work on yourself, it's working on learning every day, because life in the world, as we know, it changes. It's information, it changes fast, very, very fast, and which means you're constantly upskilling. That's one, and you can't stop. In a startup world, that need is even faster. But in any world with AI coming in, that need's gone up. Like, you need to be in school every day, basically. Period.
Yes.
What
So
are you
true.
learning today? That's one. But also improving on your mental and physical aspects. If there's a saying, I think there's a book called The Body Keeps Score. So if you're not treating your physical health well, if you're not exercising, eating good food, it starts showing up in more ways than one. To be able to respect and I'm the person who always believed I can outsmart people and I can outwork people. So I can go like a long time without. But the truth is, to get the best of me, I cannot be doing that. I cannot do a 20-hour day, and those 20 hours will not look like my peak performance.
Yeah.
Which is what people do. Can I go 20-hour days for weeks at a stretch? The answer is yes. I've done it in the past. I can do it again. But will it be my best 20 hours? The answer probably will not be yes.
Yeah.
That's something.
That's great. Yes. That's great advice. Great advice. You have to have balance, because being an entrepreneur is like running a marathon. It's not a sprint. Yes. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your mental health. So therefore, exercise, meditate, find moments of stillness that are very important, and not think that you always have to be active, because it is not true. It's and I've learned myself, it's in the moments of aloneness and stillness that I have the best ideas.
Yeah, and you spot on. I think mental health was something that I didn't explicitly state, but you are what you think you are.
Yeah.
And if your mental well-being is not in place, nothing else is anyways going to work.
That's so true. And I always say we are vibration. So we attract what we vibrate. And if our energy is positive, we'll attract positive. If it's negative, you'll attract negative. Life is a mirror. And people often forget that. They think, hey, everything is going to be okay, even if I push. No, it's again, I repeat it. It's a balancing work that requires everything you have, the mental, the physical, and the drive. And like you said before, don't give up, because if you give up, you can't make it. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I think therefore I am. I mean, if you're not in the right mindset, it's not going to happen. If you don't have clear goals, you cannot hit goals that don't exist. So you need to have that clarity.
And also, don't you think with the new technologies coming in, that everything is now at the speed of light? And one of the qualities I think everybody has to have, it's adaptability, flexibility, not be stuck in a mold thinking everything is going to fit your mold, because the mold is going to be more and more challenged.
And it's going to change. The world's changing. The world 5 years, 10 years ago wasn't the same world as it is now. So old tools won't work in the new. Like, you can't attach a horse to a Tesla car. So you just need new solutions, and you have to be on your toes.
And this is why I love to speak about new technologies, and I always encourage people to check them out, try them out. Don't think you don't need them. Maybe you think you don't need them now, but in a month from now, your landscape may be completely different. So be open to welcoming those new technologies, speaking with those people that are putting them on the market, and try them out, because you just never know what it can do for you. And you may discover something that you had never thought about.
That's so true.
Yeah. All right, great. Well, that was wonderful. My God, I really hope everybody checks out your website, and your website is BuyProperly.ai. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. And then they just have to schedule a time to speak with you if they have questions, if they are a corporation or business, speak with you. This way they'll understand how to best implement your systems there within their own systems.
Absolutely. I'm available at Khushboo@BuyProperly.ai. And I think any corporates listening to this and interested in knowing more, feel free to email me directly.
Will do. Thank you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Khushboo, thank you so much for everything you are doing and how you are changing the world, and for your resilience and your passion. It's just beautiful to see. I love to see power women like you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
All right, great. Well, everyone, thank you for watching. Please share my conversation with Khushboo and share what she's doing with your network. It's really important to help me out, spread the words, and expose those new technologies, expose those new systems to as many people as possible. I cannot do it all on my own. I need my network. So thank you for doing so. And remember to subscribe. I would appreciate that greatly. And we will see you next time.